Look, let's just dive right into a phenomenon pretty much all of us know way too well, the disappearing paycheck. And more importantly, we're going to talk about how to finally stop it. Because if you've ever stared at your bank app 3 days after payday and thought, wait, where did it all go? Yeah, you are definitely not alone. Today, we're breaking down a foolproof step-by-step routine to build your wealth completely on autopilot. I mean, just think about this number, $10,000. Let me tell you how insanely easy it is for this cash to just vanish. Think about it. A $5 coffee in the morning, maybe a $15 food truck lunch, $4 on transit, a $2 little sweet treat, and let's say about $140 in monthly subscriptions you completely forgot about. That everyday routine, it's the exact same thing as burning 10 grand every single year. It is literally robbing you of your wealth, in silence, just because you don't have a paycheck routine in place. So here's our roadmap for today. A sequential 5-step framework you need to execute every single time you get paid. We'll hit the disappearing paycheck, separating your needs and wants, building a safety net, destroying high-interest debt, tax-advantaged wealth building, and we'll wrap up with high-risk, high-reward place. Basically, it's time to start treating your personal income like a highly efficient business. All right, let's get right into it. Section 1, the disappearing paycheck. How to stop that silent drain. Which leads us right into step 2, separating your needs and wants, or sorting out your baseline. Now, to fix this, we really have to face the music about our modern standard of living. Although seemingly tiny daily pleasures, they are literally building a brick wall between you and financial freedom. So to break out of this trap, I want you to grab 6 months of your recent bank statements and do this really simple, but honestly, kind of brutal exercise. Split everything into 2 categories. First, your needs. These are your absolute survival requirements: rent, insurance, bills, utilities. Second, your wants. Nights out, restaurants, golf, those endless streaming apps. The golden rule you got to remember here: if you can physically survive without it, it's a want. End of story. And doing this helps us find what we call your financial baseline. Simply put, this is the absolute bare minimum monthly cost of your essential needs just to get by. Total up that needs column, and bam, that's your baseline. Now, you'll hear a lot of people say this should be under 50% of your income, but honestly, you ultimately want to get this number down to 25%. I know, that sounds incredibly tough, but it is a target to aggressively work toward, even if that means doing something drastic like sharing an apartment, pushing hard for promotion, or spinning up a side hustle just to boost your baseline income. Moving right along to step 3, building a safety net. This is all about protecting your foundation. Okay, so once that baseline is sorted out, you should hopefully have a good chunk of your paycheck left over. The play here is to take 20% of that paycheck and route it directly into a separate, high-interest savings account. And why are we doing this? Well, look at this staggering and honestly kind of terrifying statistic from May 2023. 1 in 5 Americans have no emergency fund at all. That is a massive, glaring vulnerability, because without a safety net, any minor life emergency, like, say, your car breaks down or you get a sudden medical bill, it's going to force you right into taking out terrible, high-interest loans just to survive. So, to avoid that trap, we have some strict rules for this emergency fund. First off, you've got to use a completely different bank than your everyday checking account. This is absolutely crucial so you don't get tempted to just dip into it for regular spending. Out of sight, out of mind, right? Second, you want to target saving 3 to 6 months of that financial baseline we just talked about. And third, and I can't stress this enough, this money is not there to make you rich. It is strictly for serious emergencies. Think of it as a pot of gold reserved only for genuine disasters, not to fund an extra weekend getaway. All right, on to section 4, destroying high-interest debt. Let's cure the parasite. So if you've been following the math so far, ideally you still have about 30% of your paycheck left. We are taking that and allocating it to cure the parasite of high-interest debt, like those nasty credit card balances. Because look, trying to invest while carrying high-interest debt is literally like trying to eat healthy while a parasite sucks away all your nutrients. It makes no sense. Now, we have a classic battle here between math and psychology. The Avalanche Method versus the Snowball Method. The Snowball Method has you pay off the smallest balance first. It gives you a really quick dopamine hit of progress, which feels great, but it takes longer and costs you almost $1,700 in interest. On the flip side, the purely logical Avalanche Method, where you attack the highest interest rate first, kills that financial parasite way faster and saves you over $1,000 compared to the Snowball Method. It's a no-brainer. Next up, Section 5, Tax-Advantaged Wealth Building. It's time to put your money to work Okay, so your safety net is fully built, your bad debt is completely wiped out. Now it is time to shift gears. You're going to take that excess money, which should be roughly 35 to 40% of your paycheck at this point, and put it straight into a tax-advantaged account. Think a Roth IRA or a stocks and shares ISA. You want to shield those investments from capital gains taxes. And if you're wondering how powerful this really is, let's look at this fascinating real-world experiment. A young investor set up an autopilot investment for just the cost of a daily coffee, about £5. He auto-invested it right into the S&P 500 and literally just forgot about it for a year. He ended up investing a total of £1,503, and a year later, it was sitting at £1,707. That is a 13.68% return just for skipping the local coffee shop. And the best part, it was all done completely on autopilot. Now, when you zoom out on this concept, the numbers get absolutely wild. Try $1.3 million. Yeah, if you automate your investments to completely remove any friction, say putting in just $250 a month, assuming an 8% historical average return, it balloons into this staggering tax-free sum over 45 years. It's a slow, methodical, but historically proven way to build absolutely incredible wealth without even having to think about it. And finally, Section 6, High-Risk Reward Plays. Let's talk about accelerating the timeline. Because look, not everybody wants to wait 45 years to hit millionaire status, right? If you want to speed up that timeline, you jump into the fast lane with the final 5 to 10% of your paycheck. What do you do with it? You use it to start a side hustle or fund a business. And here's a little secret. Having extremely limited funds actually breeds extreme creativity. It literally forces you to find clever gaps in the market. Plus, if you've got the stomach for it, this is the exact time you can allocate a tiny final 5% into highly volatile assets like crypto. Specifically talking Bitcoin or Ethereum here. But hear me loud and clear. You only do this if you are fully prepared and totally willing for that specific investment to potentially go straight to absolute zero. So let's step back and look at our fully built financial house. It's a 5-step, fully automated routine that you execute the very second your paycheck hits your bank account. Step 1, cover your needs and maintain that low baseline. Step 2, protect yourself by routing 20% into a high-interest safety net. Step 3, ruthlessly destroy that toxic high-interest debt. Step 4, automate your tax-advantaged investing to build up that slow, massive wealth. And Step 5, if you're feeling daring, carve out a tiny sliver for those high-risk, high-reward plays. Which brings us to the end, and I want to leave you with this provocative thought. Think about your next paycheck. Will it just quietly disappear into food truck lunches and forgotten app subscriptions? Or are you going to use this